Welcome back to the Wonderful Walks in Golf podcast, where we walk you through the industry's untold stories, brand reviews, history lessons, and swing lessons from industry legends to those fresh on the scene. We'll carry you through the world of golf, so you grab your bag, strap up, and enjoy the walk. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Wonderful Walks in Golf. We've got a regional specific podcast for us, Dante.
Yes.
Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania.
Gap is in the building.
We're so stoked to get into this one. I know it just means more golf for you and I. It means more golf at your golf courses. It means more golf at the golf courses I'm familiar with in Delaware. And we've got the man behind it all, Dan Hershberg, on the show with us to talk AGS and what was previously Workhorse Tour and their exciting partnership with GAP, the Golf Association of Philadelphia. This is just opening up a ton of awesome golf opportunities for everyday golfers. You don't have to be, a tour level golfer or even amateur to think about putting yourself in the mix on one of these. So, Dan, without further ado, man, thanks for hopping on with us and excited to get into this.
My pleasure, fellas. Really appreciate the time and always happy to talk shop.
Yeah, when we first saw, I think the rebrand, the AGS Tour, was at the Philly Golf Expo, and it got the wheels turning, right? It was like, okay, we knew this was Workhorse Tour. We knew what it was before, but what does the new rebrand mean, and what does it look like for us golfers who want to play? So we're excited to dive into that. Maybe you can kind of start there. What did the rebrand involve, and why AGS?
Yeah, so really for us, the Workhorse Tour was kind of came out of a pandemic influence, right? The idea at Workhorse at the time was we have no idea how long this is going to last. We lost the ability to bring people to our 70,000 square foot brewery and tap room. So we said, how are we going to replace that revenue? How are we going to grow our brands in spite of these less than ideal circumstances? And kind of what we had identified at that time was golf is a sport that has been connected to beer for as long as both have been a thing. And we had a great relationship with a lot of courses in the area. So the idea was this is pandemic proof, it's outdoors, it's safe, it's socially distant. Selfishly, it gave me a reason to spend more time at golf courses. So I figured it was a kind of good career pivot. And we ran this as more or less a marketing initiative to help grow Workhorse as a brand. And what we learned kind of, I want to say almost by accident, was that the format that we created, this, play competitive golf completely on a flexible schedule, actually was more valuable to golfers than it was to a brewery. So last year, in our second year of existence, we saw essentially a 200% year over year growth in terms of number of members. Our field size grew 5x year over year. And at that point, that was really when it crystallized in my mind, okay, this is definitely a problem that we are solving. It is something that is value additive to golfers, to course partners, to sponsors, and to the business itself. And for it to really be successful, we need to invest resources to grow it. And I sat down with my colleagues at Workhorse and said, hey, I'd love it if we were selling beer in 30 states in 3 years, but that's not the reality of the craft beer market, right? This is more of a local or regional thing. The golf has a kind of a bigger upside in terms of where I can take it. I would love to spin this out as its own business. So kind of at the behest of myself and a couple of our fellow board members, we were able to package it, move it out of the brewery, and then rebrand it. At the time, we didn't know we were going to call it the Amateur Golf Society of America. We just knew it was going to be a corollary to the Workhorse Tour and new markets. And the AGS name really kind of came out of a combination of, where do we want to be in 3 to 5 years? And we want to be all over the country. We think this problem is again, solvable and applicable to golfers in any allied golf association in any part of the country. And we will start regionally this year, but look to grow into plenty of new states over the next 3 to 5.
Yeah, I think that initial idea is just stellar. I mean, we were talking before we got on air, the difficult part, especially as a working man or woman, is to go play these state run events that are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? And then if you've got to go get a look at the golf course, you've got to pack the sticks up again and go spend another weekday possibly to not, especially private courses, get on when it's not the weekend. So this, I feel like, really is just something we haven't seen in golf, especially in amateur golf. And then to package that on the back end with how many places you guys are stopping in one calendar year is just absurd. I mean, it offers so many people in the tri-state area an opportunity to play golf.
I mean, that's the name of the game, right? Like it's a business at the end of the day, right? We want it to make money and be successful. But the reason that I love this concept is, I said earlier, it's value additive. The beauty of it is that for the same price that you were going to spend if you weren't a tour golfer, right? We're charging you rack rate for greens fees. You pay a small membership fee that includes your gin service for the year, and you were going to pay for that anyway. So basically, you're spending no more than you would have spent previously. Now you get access to 60 week-long events in 3 different states. You get access to 5 to 6 private clubs and one-day match play events. You get member perks and sponsor discounts and an opportunity to play in a community. And most importantly, really the biggest problem that I think it solves for all 3 of us and anybody that doesn't belong anywhere is you get advanced access to booking sheets, right? To tee sheets. It's so hard to find tee times at top public courses right now because of the popularity of the game. If you're an AGS member, you're getting access to these tee sheets months prior to the public. So if you want to play in an event, there's nothing stopping you, right? You go in, book your tee time, pay the same price, and you're getting an opportunity to tee it up and win prizes. So for me, it's one of those, the golfers win, the courses love it because we fill their tee sheets. And at the end of the day, and when everyone's happy, then that's the best kind of business to run.
It seems like similar to basically being a member at a specific course without being tied down to playing the same course over and over again.
Our goal as we build this out is to really create a membership feel, right? We want you guys, when you sign up, to have the same type of experience you would have at a private club. Now, do I have a high-end dining room where I can serve you filet mignon and lobster tail? Like, probably not. Although if you guys want to kick it, sometime this summer, we can certainly go do that. But what we want to do is offer similar benefits and access and perks to our members. So we have partners with some great sponsors like Golf Galaxy and Bettinardi that offer exclusive access to product releases, to concierge services at their stores. We have access to these one-day events at private clubs. The screensaver behind me is the site of our Pennsylvania Tour Championship. That's White Marsh Valley. It's one of the most prestigious clubs.
That looked familiar. I was like sitting there. I was like, I feel like I took a picture in that same spot. I have some friends of mine, of my family, that belong there, and they invited us out last year. And I'm like, why is that photo look strikingly familiar?
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Come and play it in October 23 if you qualify. So, we have a lot of really cool things, I think, that will give people the type of feeling, and the way that, our staff and our team will create that experience is by giving you essentially the same type of concierge service you would get if you were at a private club for, a tiny, tiny fraction of the price.
I mean, all the perks you were just saying are the same perks I get for being a member at the course that I'm a member at. It's just, you have the exclusiveness of being able to play any course you want with the greens fee, plus all the perks that you get for getting a member, like gin, discounts, you name it. It's a great thing.
That's why we're so excited about it, right? We want it to be a no-brainer for everybody. Yeah, I love talking about this stuff because I
light bulb ding.
Right. And Dante, you mentioned all those perks, right? And then you mentioned the partnership with GAP, with the Golf Association of Philadelphia, which also includes opportunity to access their member play days and different events that the GAP is having as well. And like, I know I played, Dante, we both went to school in Scranton. We were buddies with the guys up at Glenmara. Their GAP team matches were everything, right? Like everybody recognizes GAP as this kind of like honor system of golf in Philadelphia, New Jersey, all of Pennsylvania. And like, to have a partnership with that as well and have access to that by just paying your dues as a AGS member, I just feel like is huge within the golfing community as a whole, let alone folks who are looking to go play.
Oh, well, exactly too, because I remember getting into golf a couple years right outside of college when I graduated. We talk about this all the time. I played lacrosse in high school and in college, and it wasn't until afterwards where I got into it, which, I mean, seems like that's most of our generation these days is, you go play sports your entire life, and then golf really wasn't the thing. And now you get like this corporate job and you're like, crap, I need to do something. And that's how I was. I needed something competitively because lacrosse just wasn't cutting it in the men's leagues. And I basically joined a club because I said, how can I find a way to play competitive? Like let me get better at this game. Let me learn the game of golf. I'm not going to just go out and slap it around and just pay a greens fee and call it a day and then do it like a couple months later. I said, I'm going to learn this game. I'm going to learn the swing. I'm going to learn how to score. And at the time, this was 2014, where I'm wondering, well, where can I go to play tournaments. And at the time, the head pro was telling me, like, well, you go to Gap and then you go on their schedule. Well, that's all I knew, and that's all there really was. Now you fast forward to today. I mean, you got Gap tours, and then you got AGS tours, and you got, I don't even know how many other tours that are out there that you can actually play amateur level golf, because it was either high end amateur like Dalton's status in regards to US Open qualifiers or pro stuff. And there really wasn't for the guys like what I was getting into.
Well, I mean, Dante, this is a really great point. So one of the big changes we've made for this year, in 2022, we essentially had 3 divisions for every event. We had a net division, we had a gross division, and we had a women's division. What we realized, and again, we probably would have done this at the beginning of last year had we foreseen the type of growth that we would have had year over year. But what we really heard throughout the course of the year from our members was that they wanted to have net flights, which is a pretty standard form of golf competition, right? It's not breaking the mold, but we thought, okay, if we have 250 or 300 people who are enrolled and only, 25 to 30 are playing a week, you can't really have 4 flights because then everybody's winning everything. So we weren't able to do that prior to last year, but now with the expectation that we're going to see, thousands of people as part of our membership, every single tour event that we have has 4 net divisions, ranging from 0 to 36. There's also a separate seniors division and a separate women's division. And if you're a senior or a woman listening to this podcast, you're competing in that respective division as well as that net division. So essentially, to your point, it does not matter what level of golfer you are. And some of our best success stories last year were people who picked it up during the pandemic, got their index for the first time, started the season as, a 40, and played in every single event we had. And by the end of the year, we're down to like a high 20s handicap and playing, playing in our winter tour, going to simulators, getting lessons with pros. So what we really want to build in and what we encourage is, yes, if you are a stick and you are a near scratch golfer, we give you a great opportunity to play all these courses, play with other people at a similar level, and really scratch that high end competitive itch, and maybe use that as a springboard to playing Gap matches or eventually joining a private club and playing in some higher end events. The other end of it is you can be just average Joe who wants to get out, wants to reconnect with friends, wants a little time out with buddies, wants to play competitively, maybe just wants access to tee times, maybe just wants to play some courses and get onto the tee sheet. All of those things are available, and we'll provide the resources through our partnerships with Gap, through our partnerships with Golf Galaxy, to be able to provide lessons and access to golf professionals. So if you want to get new clubs, you want to get regripped, you want to get fitted, you can do that through us at a discount from rack rate. You can then go to a PGA Section Pro who's part of our AGS Match Play program and get lessons and get better and make this a real commitment. Or again, play twice a year and just do it for fun. Like, it's totally up to you. That's why I love kind of the inclusivity of the model. It fits, everybody's shoe, if you will.
No, it's for sure. It's from structure to schedule to like overall setup. It fits anybody who wants to play. And I think that's what golf has really been about, especially the last like couple years after post pandemic, is like so many people picked it up. But then Dante, to your point, where do you go play once you pick it up? And especially, how do you get better in a competitive fashion without signing up for these state events? And it's stuff like the AGS tour that's popping up that's making that attainable for anyone, whether it's your 40 handicap or your 20 handicap, which I think is just exciting to see for the game as a whole, right? Like, we want more people to play. This is how they're able to finally start doing that. And, and add points towards a season end championship, which I think is exciting.
Yeah, definitely gives you something to play for. I'm just, I love beating this drum of like, it does not matter what level of golfer you are, what your experience is. And I think it's nice too, because last year, again, we had really great engagement the first half amongst our single digit golfers. But when you're playing in a net competition against 25, 30 indexes, you're just never going to win that competition. So
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
It is a show. It is a wonderful walks in golf pet peeve.
I duck out of here. Yeah. So you guys get it, right? Like, you understand the importance of that. So we want folks playing in a similar tier with folks of similar ability. And the thing that's nice too about the way our leaderboards work, let's say we have a cutoff of like 7.9 in our, number one division. If you play that week as a 7.8 and you shoot net +6, and that adjusts your index to an 8.1, you are now playing in the net division 2 for the next tournament. It automatically reflights you depending on your index at the time of play. But the points that you earn in any event are not on a season-long leaderboard in your flight. They're in a season-long leaderboard in your region. So it doesn't matter if you play net 1, net 2, net 3, net 4 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Delaware. Any points you earn in that week's competition will go up to that season-long leaderboard, as well as an overall leaderboard for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. So if you're like the three of us and you can get up to courses in different regions, there's no downside to playing outside of your, quote unquote home region, because the points you earn in that competition will still flow up to a leaderboard that's going to entitle you to prizes and opportunities and perks. So it's really about just getting out and playing as much golf as you can.
I love that. And you just mentioned there, which I think I want to get into as well, just because I'm curious, because I travel a ton. You mentioned 3 separate tour championships for New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. If I buy this membership per se, and I'm playing in Delaware, can I come up to Pennsylvania and play in an event? How does that work?
Yeah, so when you're in our app, which will be released on April 5th, so that's next Wednesday if we're here on Monday, you will choose a default region. That's essentially just to tell us where you're anticipating to play the majority of your events, and it'll filter that automatically. However, in our event schedule, you will see every single tour event in every single region, and that will continue as we move into new states over the next few years. If we have 8 states in which there are events, you can literally book a tee time in any of those events. There's no extra cost. You don't have to pay for a membership in a separate region. Your one membership fee gets you access to all of those events. So you go play in that event, and whenever you go to post your score, whatever your index is at the time of play will autofill you to that net division in that region. Now, there are slightly different point structures in each region depending on the number of people that are playing in each. So like Delaware is a smaller region. We're not going to make the same point structure available if you finished like 12 out of 30 people, as opposed to Pennsylvania, where maybe you finished 12 out of 300. But the general idea here is that you will be able to play any event in any state. And if your schedule allowed, like maybe you had a long weekend, you play Friday, Pennsylvania, go down to the shore Saturday, play a short course on Saturday, and drive home to Delaware, play Sunday. You're earning points in all 3 of those events, right? So there's no downside on that end.
Dante, I think he just described one of our weekends here coming up pretty soon.
Oh yeah. I've played in actually I was just looking at the New Jersey schedule. I've played 14 out of the, I guess, 20 some events that are on there.
Okay.
I've played at those majority of those courses, so but looks like that'll probably be my home thing, but making it way to Delaware and PA. I mean, obviously there's plenty of courses that I haven't played on those schedules and have played. So looks like Dalton and I are going to be making some tri-state trips here.
Yeah, I mean, I just know in August alone, they're playing Bayside, Baywood Greens, and Plantation Lakes, which are just some heavy hitters in the Delaware area, and that's 1 month. They also come down to Heritage Shores, which is a fun course. Mulligan's Point's a solid golf course, and they started out with Bear Trap Dunes, which is like one of my favorites and probably closest to my house here in the beginning of May. So they'll be seeing me there. There's no doubt about that, because that is a fun Jack Nicklaus design. But yeah, I mean, you guys aren't just playing like, the munis, right? Like you guys are having some heavy hitters in every state. It's just another opportunity that proves like what you guys are doing is awesome. But like why I play in a lot of Maryland state events to begin with is because I know the courses are incredible and I know the conditions are going to be great to go play phenomenal golf courses across wherever I'm playing. And you guys offer it in 3 states already, which I think is just exciting for any level golfer.
Yeah, and I think too about future applications for this this concept. I mean, we have a great partner with Hilton Hotels, and thinking about what happens when you are in 20 states across the country, and if you're going out, maybe you're flying to California for a wedding, or you're going to a bachelor party in Boston. Like, why not book your tour event if you've got an extra day? Do it there, bring your buddies out. You can sign up as a member, but then you can book tee times for guests as well. So if you have friends who aren't part of the tour and you want them to play with you, you just register them as a guest. Now, granted, they can't compete in the leaderboards for that week, but now you have an opportunity for real-time scoring for yourself. You can compare it with your buddies, see what's going on, and make a weekend out of it, and stay at a tour partner hotel for a discounted rate by showing your member card. Like, there's all these different applications that I think lend itself to giving us better golf experiences, and that's one of our kind of core values here. Is we want to enhance your golf experience and your golf game.
That's exciting. I mean, as you look at like the growth opportunities, I know just for us, it's like, all right, well, what golf courses are going to be on the schedule for next year? Like, you've already got me like waiting to click on the 2024 event schedule, because that's just I know the intentions are there to continue to grow. So, I mean, where can people find you? Where can people follow along?
Sure.
And what's the best way to really check out the Amateur Golf Society?
Yeah, so the website, amateurgolfsociety.com, is kind of your start out point. The AGS Tour is our handle for all relevant social media. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'll have a lot of YouTube content. We're going to be doing some stuff this year. I'm pretty excited. We brought in, I've basically been doing this with, one or two folks at Workhorse. We now have a larger team and some more dedicated resources to help create unique content and do some fun stuff to help make this a more engaging experience, not just when you're playing, but when you're spending time with the tour. The app itself, so it's a progressive web app, which just basically means, as opposed to downloading a fully mobile app, you'll go to our website, there'll be a join now link. Once you register, you can add that app to your home screen, and it functions exactly like a mobile app. Which is great for us because we can add courses continuously without having to, hey, Apple iStore, like let's make an update. We can, something comes in, wants to do another event, or we have a special thing that we want to offer. But that app will go live on Wednesday, April 5th. So you can check out all of our handles at that time, click the link and register at that time.
That's exciting. I know ease of use is a big thing to keep that many members at bay. And I know we've been in different events across the country where apps can either make or break a good connectivity and a good general force. So I like the structure of that. That seems easy to use and mindless almost to a point.
We're trying to, be an industry leader in that space over time. And look, I mean, I think anybody who's ever built anything in tech will admit that, the initial rollout never goes perfectly. So we've been testing it. I'm excited about how it looks and what it's going to do. We haven't had 2,500 people on it concurrently, so we'll see what happens when that comes around. But we've got some great partners. We've been working with Golf Genius for the last 3 years. They're the industry leader in this tournament management software. So that capability is super cool. We built this proprietary booking platform from scratch. It's got some really cool features in it where you can search for other tour golfers, so you can find out if someone you're chasing on the leaderboard is playing that week and try to get on their foursome. You can click player profiles and see the rankings, the statistics, the index of people in foursome. So if you see 2 spots are open in a group and I'm like, oh, Dalton, that dude's a scratch, I don't want to play with him, I'm nervous. Or like Dante's like, yo, I'm a 12, cool, that's more my speed, like let's go do that. It gives you a little bit more customization in terms of how you choose with whom to play. And at the end of the day, I mean, you guys know it, like your wonderful walks in golf, right? Like half of the fun of playing golf is the experience you have with the people you play with. So my hope is that by kind of customizing that and personalizing it a little bit, you'll be able to make better connections and then go back into your app at the end and see the names of everybody you played with. So when you forget after you drank those 6 beers during that walk, who those people were, and you can contact them and do it again.
Keep the cold brews coming during a good walk, right?
Always.
I love it. No, it's something we mention a lot too. We've gone out to California the past 2 years now, and played in the Palm Springs Amateur out there. And everything we always come back with, the one statement is like, man, I love the people we met. Right. Like I love the people we play with every day, day in and day out. And it's always at the end of the day, the golf almost gets forgotten, but the people you meet and the connections you make are really what matters. And it's something we always bring back and we keep talking about. Man, you remember this guy? Do you remember that guy? I can't wait to see him again this year. And I feel like the AGS Tour allows you to do that every week, not just once a year.
Yeah, I one of the things that I thought was super cool. So we did this Discord server. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Discord. Some people are, some people aren't, but we used it last year as a way to facilitate pairings for folks who at that time, we didn't have a booking platform. It was your call on the course, but because we facilitate these, off time scheduling of tournament events, it's, hey, I want to play it Tuesday at 9:30. People would jump into a tournament thread and say, hey, I'm Dan, I'm an 11 index, I'm looking to play at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, who's available? And you'd see people post immediately like, oh, I'd join you, I'd love to play with you. And it was so active at the beginning of the year. And then towards the end of the year, there were fewer and fewer posts. And I was like, wait, what's going on? Are people not using it? And then when we realized they found their foursome, right? Like they found a group of people that they played with because they shared a schedule, they hit it off, They enjoyed each other's company, and then they didn't need to go through the app to find a partner. They just started playing golf with each other. And like that is where I get super, super enthusiastic about this concept, because it helps facilitate connections within the golf community. And whenever you can add friends to your golf network, it just makes it a better experience.
Now that's a really unique, I guess, like kind of scenario, right? You just didn't see the activity. They're done. They're over with. You're like, man, this isn't working. And all of a sudden it's actually working way better than you could have expected.
They're like, wait, I saw this guy's name on the last 17 leaderboards. Like he's definitely playing. He's just obviously found his playing partner. So it's funny how that happened.
That's awesome. And it's exciting to see that growth too, as that was your first year, and to hop into the next year. It's exciting to see how that'll just continue to kind of compound as the years go on.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we discussed this, but so you have like each week you have the week to get your round in, right? And post it. Is that how it's operated with the app in regards to the scoring aspect?
Correct. So you can play at any day or time during that 7 day window. So you want to play 6 a.m. on Monday, 5 p.m. on Sunday, as long as you get 18 holes in and you post by the end of the week. We ask that people post their score the same day they played, because obviously when you look at it from a handicapping perspective with playing condition calculations or exceptional score reduction, like you want to make sure that everything is in line with when you played. But at the end of the day, let's say you forgot, you didn't do it, as long as you post within that week, your score will be added to the leaderboard for the net division that you play. And then after play is completed on Sunday night, leading into Monday morning, we will award points for those tournaments, update the leaderboards, and then you can see, again, in real time where you stack up in terms of that week's performance.
That's kind of interesting. You can like go out and have a round on Monday, and next thing you know, some dude's playing Friday or Saturday, and just you think you're in the lead for 4 or 5 days. Next thing you know, someone score gets posted. You're like, what?
We've told people too. I mean, like that definitely happens where someone goes out, they set the bar high, and then they're hoping that clubhouse score will hold for 6 days. What we've told other people is that, listen, if you think you want to play multiple times that week, or you think you have the availability, you could play on Monday. Don't post your score. Just keep your score in your scorecard. Don't post it in the app. Post it to Gin, because then there's record of it happening and it keeps your index active. But then go back later that week if you want to, if you think you can shoot better. You play another 18 holes. If you play a better round, you can post either of those 18. You obviously can't combine them. But if you post a score, once you post it, it's done. But if you wanted to play 7 days during the week, just post your best one of those rounds. You can do that, right? Like there's no downside to doing that, but that's how it works.
That's
that.
interesting. I like that.
That is
I like
interesting.
that a lot. Like you could get a little second shot. You're like, all right, well, man, I just really didn't bring the putter with me today.
I do like that. No, because I do like that, because going on golf trips, right? You go on these golf trips, like we went out to California, and you're playing them once, and then you never go back until the following year. And you play that course, or if you're playing a course, I don't know, up the road for the first time, I always try and take that first round and you try and play for score. Now you're nervous and you're pressured because you don't know what the layout is. The best you can do is kind of go on, I don't know, Google Earth and try and get a feel for the layout, or do as much research or not, or just going blind. I like that idea where it's like, all right, I'm going to go there, see the course, even though I don't play well. I can go back again and just consider that almost a practice round per se.
Yeah. Again, as long as you don't put your score into the leaderboard, you can count it as a practice round. And frankly, listen, if your schedule allows you to play multiple rounds a week at one of our courses, that's better for everybody. It's great for you that you can play that much golf. The courses love it because they're getting greens fees. We love it because you're out here playing more golf and posting on every leaderboard. Like it's a win-win situation when everybody plays more golf.
Definitely.
Unless you shoot back-to-back rounds that suck, in which case you're just going to be kicking yourself for spending the money. But hey, that's not my problem.
Well, if you're going for the scenery, hey, why not?
I love it.
I was going to say, and that's golf in a nutshell.
I just said that, and now I'm going to shoot like 110 in my first rounds of the year, and it's going to be bad karma coming my way. So
I've got faith you'll do a little better than that.
If I did shoot that, then I think I would. My Gin index would be soft capped pretty quickly, and we'd run into some major issues with the sandbagger of the AGS.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your clubs are going to be on eBay, because that's usually what I say.
I mean, I'm trying to get away from my kids for a couple hours, Dante. I'm not trying to quit this game anytime.
All right, touche. Valid point there.
I was gonna say, I guess that comment comes from two guys who don't have kids yet. So
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, you guys, it's a whole different can of worms. But yeah, we'll save that for another podcast, maybe down the road.
I love it. Well, if you have kids, if you don't have kids, go check out the AGS, the Amateur Golf Society, and sign up this year in Delaware, New Jersey, or Pennsylvania. I might have to kind of dabble in all 3 states. I see enough courses in every state to just say I'm going to go make it a point to play that golf course at some point during the week, whether it's Monday or whether it's Sunday. Oh, I'm beating you at your own course. You know I'm doing that.
You already did.
I'll do it again.
All right.
The Running Deer is one of our majors this year too, so the points will be on an elevated scale there. And I know because it's semi-private, the thing about the tee sheets for the majority of our events, like we get a good amount of access, but there are courses like every week we play, right? There are leagues and member times that we don't have access to, and that wouldn't change whether we have the app or not, right? Like that's part of it. Running Deer, there's no tee times available before 12 to the public, which again would be the same if you book with us or not. So that's going to be a really interesting event. Like we're going to recommend people for that course specifically. If you want to play in that major, get your booking on early, make sure you get a spot that week. And you know,
Oh,
you really only have,
I can
there you go.
attest. I mean, we've gotten the amount of new members that we just brought in too is it's booming. So yeah, anybody that wants to play the Running Deer Major,
Yeah,
get your tee times in now.
I do love that course though. It's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, it's fun. It can beat you up, but it can also be extremely rewarding. It's just we talk about it all the time, like how hard and great of a golf course it really is. Yeah, we have a blast. And then also when you play it frequently, sometimes you just want to, you get pissed sometime. But no, it's when you take a step back, I mean, it's a phenomenal golf course. I do enjoy going there. It's different every time.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what makes it fun, right? Like you want to have a little bit of a different experience. But yeah, I'm excited to play it for sure.
So we'll see you there then.
I was gonna say, so we're gonna see you there, and talk to us too. We might not have touched on this. I know we touched on the multiple states, but
Sure.
I see each state has their own tour championship too. So I'm guessing whatever state you sign up for at the beginning of the year, or that like is your quote unquote home state, is the one you play in, or how does that work?
No, so it's all predicated on the points that are earned throughout the course of the season. So you could say Delaware is your default course because maybe you're geographically closer to the majority of those courses. But like, let's say you carved out time to play 6 events in New Jersey, and you happened to play some of your best golf of the season in those 6 weeks, and you earned enough points on the New Jersey tour to qualify for the tour championship, you are eligible to play in that event.
Nice.
So that's the nice thing. Again, it's like I've said this now during this call, I've said this during every conversation I've had with everyone. The ultimate goal for us is we want people playing more golf. Does not matter if you are good at golf, if you are bad at golf. Like the coolest thing for me is when you see someone who's got like let's say a high 20s or low 30s index, who would never have previously posted like a 102. Maybe even to Jen or even just to social media or tell your friends, like they don't like bragging about it because it feels in some way like they're not good enough. They see PGA Tour guys shooting 6-7 under and they're like, I shot 102, like no one cares. But if that 102 is a net -3 and it wins you a tour event, that's a really cool feeling. It's like, hey, I beat my own index. I played above my current ability, and it's showing that I'm improving, and I got to win something, and it was fun. Now I can brag to my friends, like, hey, if you're in my division, you didn't beat me. Like, go out and do it. So I think that's where it gets exciting for the competition side. Kind of different answer to the question that you just asked, but I also love talking about that side of it.
No, I mean, a perfect tangent, right? Because it's just like it offers the ability for everyone to play and everyone to have an ability to be on a leaderboard somewhere. And I think that's the fun of golf, right? That's why we have the handicap system. As much as we go back and forth on like, man, these people should post more. Like if they play enough, they're going to be posting. So for the AGS, it's going to be like, all right, go out there and beat me. Like you said, if you're in my division, I post a score on Monday. I know you're playing Thursday. I can trash talk you all week and say you aren't touching that, and then we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I love it. The engagement side is really cool when you start getting a little bit more, whether it's smack talk, whether it's camaraderie. Again, those foursomes that got together. There was one group that really kind of resonated with me throughout the course of the year, where there was a young lady who had just gotten into the game as a result of the pandemic. She picked it up at a simulator, one of our partners, X Golf, out in Chester or in Garnet Valley. And, she had like a 40 something index, but she played every single week. She loved it. And in the last event of the year, she had her first birdie ever. And like the guys that she was with were so stoked, like even more stoked for her because they'd watched her every week and they know how much she enjoyed it. But like to see that payoff at the end, and then knowing that like they're the ones that went into our Discord server, like, did you see April got a birdie? Like, congrats. And like she like was just over the moon excited. So that to me is a real fun part of all of this.
Heck yeah. No, that's fun, man. And it's just like the camaraderie you build throughout the year as people continue to show up time and time again. And they build that relationship. And when something special happens like that, like everyone rallies behind.
Absolutely.
Now that's awesome. I know I'm seeing, like you said, White Marsh behind you for the Pennsylvania Tour Championship. Dante, I'm seeing Atlantic City Country Club there for New Jersey.
We've been there.
I'm gonna beat a dead horse to play there this year. If it means making a couple trips to New Jersey, that place is a lot of fun to play. And then obviously Tour Championship at Rock Manor in Delaware, which I think I'm going to do my best to play in my closest to home state up there. So excited for the year ahead, man. It's just like you see so many golf courses. And as I was saying, I think before we got on the call too, it's like you see so many courses you maybe didn't book a tee time before, or maybe you just couldn't get a tee time before. And now you're like, man, for this price and just a greens fee, I can go do that pretty accessibly. That excites me, I know, and it excites, I think, a lot of people who try and pick up the game and either just play on weekends or, you know, get out with their buddies. It's an exciting opportunity.
Yeah, I think I was telling you guys the same thing before the call. Like a lot of these courses I haven't played, and prior to starting this business, I didn't even know they existed. Like one I'm super pumped, like Morgan Hill, which is up near Allentown. They're owned by the same group that has Bella Vista and Mainland. Never heard of it. Got introduced to the pro last year after the season started, so we didn't have any spots. I was like, hey, I'd love to circle back with you, only because it was like, hey, he's one of these groups, like I'll bring him in regardless. Had no idea what the course was like, and then started like investigating what this course was like. If you look at pictures of Morgan Hill, it looks unbelievable, like undulating. It's built into the side of a hill. It is not like it would probably be a challenging walk in golf from what I'm told. But it just looks like an awesome track. And now, like, you know, part of what we'll do on our app, we have an agency that's taking photo, video, and drone content of all of our courses that'll be uploaded over time. And we're looking to build in a ratings and review system and integrate that. So when you are looking to make a decision around what course to play, it's not just, oh, what did I see on Golf Now? Like, is it 3.2 from these people I've never met before? You know, you're going to actually have a little bit more visibility, understanding of what the layout's going to be. Check out the price points. But yeah, those are the things that get me thinking about, like, oh man, I got to build my schedule around some of these courses this year and make sure I get out to play them.
No, that's exciting. That sounds like a carpool waiting to happen, Dante, up to a couple of these spots.
Oh, definitely. I'm looking at pictures right now.
I love it. He's always our investigator behind the scenes for seeing what's good and what's not. Well, I love it, Dan. I appreciate the time, and we appreciate the time of just going through AGS and what's on deck for this year, right? Because I think we're all in that planning mode. The weather's finally turning a little warm eye, which is exciting, and we're seeing some sunshine more often than not. So we're looking to see, hey man, where are we going to play golf? And not only where are we going to play golf, but what's the season look like? And I know for anyone who's got a competitive itch in their body, they want to put their name on a leaderboard somewhere, whether it's, you know, the 20 handicap or whether it's the closest scratch golfer. We want to compete in some way, shape, or form, and this allows them to do so. So guys, go out to amateurgolfsociety.com, check out the events in Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Sign up, go check them out at the AGS Tour on Instagram, as I'm sure they'll be pumping out the content here in the spring as the season gets underway.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, guys, for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure connecting and chatting. And we're going to make sure that when you take that carpool, I'll hop in at high speed from the side of the road with my sticks, and we'll make it happen.
Yes. We love it. The more, the merrier.
Will do.
Always.
Yep.
Thanks,
well, guys, you can always go to wonderfulwalksingolf.com to check out the latest YouTube videos, podcasts, blog drops, and merch releases from us. Again, that's www.wonderfulwalksingolf.com. Check us out, give us a follow, subscribe to the channel, and as always, get out there, carry your clubs, and walk or wither.